What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? A huge patch is upon us, the biggest since the Monolith update. This is patch 38.3, Paragon Year 1. We've got a new hero, existing hero rebalances, card reworks, prizes for everyone, and banners. Before we get into all that, let's take a look at a little bit of lore. It has been 1 year since the Azurite portals opened on Omeda, Letha and Zakin. 1 year since the search for the Paragon began, a time for solemn reflection and cake. Now, Paragon means a person or thing viewed as a model of excellence, and yes, I use Google for that. So maybe the heroes are fighting to obtain Paragon status, someone for the people to look up to. We know that Omeda is a city because Shimbi is from there, and Hawitsa I believe supports a sports team from there. Letha and Zakin, I hope I'm saying these names right, are also probably cities. So maybe each city sends a few heroes to compete for Paragon status, and in the future we'll see more and more cities or maybe even planets starting to send their own heroes, who knows. Now, the first big thing in this patch is obviously Yin. To kick off this update, we welcome our newest hero. Slow down projectiles, send them hurling back at your opponents with Yin, the wind summoning, whip wielding carry. As you all know, you've probably seen the video I released or the one Epic released on Yin, so I won't talk too much about it for now. Okay, so this is the biggest thing I was wanting in the patch. We all wanted heroes to be rebalanced, and then Paragon said, okay, we're going to balance a bunch of heroes at a time, and then we'll tweak them slowly throughout these other smaller patches. So in this update, we have 20 hero rebalances, and we'll go over the full list of all the heroes as and when we get to it. Now, we finally get banners. This was meant to come out like 2-3 patches ago, but bugs and whatever development issues. But we now have banners. It says, that's right folks, in this update you'll be able to see your very own banner of player kill and tower kill across the battlefield of Agora. We'll be putting up a different banner for purchase in the store every day for the next 2 weeks. That way you can let us know which ones you prefer. See the list of all the banners coming in this update below. Okay, so I guess they're at the bottom of the page. But man, I was worried about banners taking up too much space, but the fact that it hovers quite a bit off the ground, it's actually, I don't know, like maybe triple Twin Blast height off the ground, so that's not too bad for me. I was worried that it would, just land on the ground and then it would look like, it would just take up too much space, but it's obviously something Epic thought about and said, well, if we put it in the air, if we put it in the air, there's not much that people can get confused with. So I think this is okay. I would have loved to be able to customize my banner, like maybe put some writing on it, or change, you see how it's purple inside, maybe change the colors there just to suit the hero that I'm playing maybe. But it appears to be that banners are just set for now. Maybe you can customize them in the future, I have no idea. Now, they already told us that they were planning to rework the entire card system. I was a huge fan of the card system, but it's something unique in a MOBA, but I felt it never realized its full potential. So I'm glad that they noticed this and they're reworking the system. I can't wait to see how it turns out, because obviously they've learned from their mistakes and it should be a lot better system. So they've reworked a lot of cards currently in the game while we wait for this, so that they have more impactful passives or actives, and they changed the numbers for a lot of cards. So I'm interested to go through this, but before we do, let's talk about some of the prizes. So there's a year 1 celebration that celebrates all week long. You get a year 1 gift. Play 1 game this week and receive a year 1 gift. This gift will grant you one of the 6 skins from the vault. You can see the full assortment below. Founders will receive an additional gift as a special thanks. Okay, so you get any one of these skins: Wasteland Twin Blast, Monarch Decker, Monarch Sparrow, Monarch Murdoch, Midnight Muriel, Cobalt Steel, and I guess if you have all 6 you get 500 coins, which is not bad actually for a free gift. If you're a founder, you're gonna get 1,000 coins for free, or you're gonna get 2 skins. Now if you have these, I guess you just get other ones, so it's that for me is pretty good from Epic. It's I would have liked to see obviously the Grux skins in there, or maybe the Murdoch ones, because they did say the Grux ones are going to the vault, so I would have hoped that they were there. Anyways, it's double XP all week long, and there's sales. Everything bundle at 50% off, all heroes bundle at 33% off, and 10 loot crate keys at 20% off. So maybe I might get some. I'm not sure what the all heroes bundle is. Is that like masteries for all heroes or something? Everything bundle at 50% off. I guess that's all this. They did this for Christmas, right, where you just can buy everything in the game at a super low price. It still worked out quite expensive, but in the long run it's definitely a lot cheaper. Alright, so let's talk about the major features. A new hero Yin has been released, Paragon Year 1 event has started, chests are now available. There are 4 tiers of chests: bronze, silver, gold and diamond. Chests can be opened on the profile page. All tributes have been converted to chests of an equivalent quality to the previous reward. Victory chests have been converted to silver chests. Okay, so I like the idea of chests, right? We've already got loot crates though, so I'm kind of wondering, do we have to purchase these chests? We get silver ones for free as a victory chest, which I love. Bronze chest, I don't know, maybe some kind of achievement. Gold and diamond, I'm not too sure. I know you get them from the daily rewards, right? But how else can you earn these? Do you have to just spend more coin on them? And you know, what's the difference between loot crates and chests? Do chests have, you know, are chests more specific, right? So if I buy a diamond chest, am I guaranteed something of a certain rarity? Whereas with the crates in the moment, you can get literally anything. Like, you're not guaranteed any rarity. But are the diamond crates are the diamond chests, gonna guarantee me, say, something that's at least legendary, or something that is at least an epic, or whatever they call it, something of certain quality? That's what I'm interested, because then I would much rather buy chests than these loot crates. Obviously I expect the chests to be more, but I'm not a fan of RNG personally. I don't know, what do you guys think about this? Are you happy to pay more to guarantee a certain quality? Okay, so to do with Monolith, core attacks will now be correctly rendered with team colored visuals, fixed an issue where players that rejoin a match were seeing every other player as invisible due to an issue with visibility. Okay, that sounds like a broken bug, so I'm glad they fixed that one. Not really too concerned about AI. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at, cards. So the weekly card pack has Seek and Destroy, Merciless, Blood-Soaked Armor. Nothing special. If you don't have the cards, buy them if you want. I guess I barely use any of these cards. Plus you can craft them anyways. I barely buy the weekly card pack unless it's got an epic rare. If it has an epic rare, you buy that weekly card pack and dismantle it for all the crafting components. Okay, so Blight, status effect. Reduce healing reduction from 75% to 40%. Reduce duration from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. So that's a huge nerf to Blight, but I don't know, did anyone really use Blight before? And maybe they nerfed it because they started to include it in a lot of cheaper cards. Asher the Witch, a rework. Now Universal Affinity, I believe it was corruption. It costs 6 CP. It now has 12 power as a base stat and slow on ability hit, passive. Enemies hit by abilities are slowed by 150 move speed for 1 second. Okay, now this card seems pretty good because it's a universal, so anyone can use it. Ranged heroes can now, you know, hit an enemy, and instead of them being able to run away because you shot them and you take a penalty for shooting, you can try and catch up to them because 150 move speed is pretty decent. So is this card going to be used a lot? I feel like it will be in theory, but you know, theory doesn't always add up to what's going to happen in reality, but it's something to keep in mind. It's a huge trade-off, right? You only get 12 power for 6 points. But you know, you're kind of using this card for the passive, so I'm interested to see. I think this card will definitely be used by some people, and that's the whole idea of having a card rework, right? People would just build Madstones, micro nukes, and crit bonus on their carries, but now it gives you like, oh wait, is it worth me investing to slow down enemies? Like, it's an actual viable choice now, whereas before you never had this option, so I like it. We now have Divine Shield. It's been reworked and is now a universal affinity. It costs 8 CP, gives you 60 max mana, 4 ability armor, and it's passive. Block an enemy ability. Okay, wow. Wow. We actually don't have any kind of cards like this. I mean, you've got Stasis Gem and you've got Purity Sensor, but Purity Sensor just counters CC. I guess you could say it kind of blocks Aurora's ultimate for your allies, but Stasis Gem leaves you kind of vulnerable. But I think this card is insane. It is definitely going to save lives. The problem is that it's an 8 cost card. It is really expensive. If you're a support, and I imagine not many heroes are going to pick up this card, because in Paragon, if you just build damage, you pretty much win. And not many heroes are going to pick up an 8 cost card if you're dishing out damage. I kind of think supports are going to pick up this card if they are at all, because I don't know how good this card is. Like, yeah, you can block an enemy ability, but 8 points is a lot to invest. Like, you'd rather get Purity Sensor if you're a support, or me personally, I would just, on how it's that I just build damage. Like, I would never buy a card that blocked an ability because it costs 8 card points. That's ridiculous to me. That's too expensive. Again, I could be wrong, and you know, it might actually be really good. Who knows? We've got Quenching Scales. I believe this was a growth affinity card. It's now a universal affinity card. It costs 4 CP, gives you 50 max health, 30 max mana, and has a mana aura. Passive, grants 0.6 increased mana regen in a radius, so sort of like Circular of Mana. When it is maxed though, it has a team heal, which is an active. Heal yourself and nearby allies for 225 health, granting 21 basic armor for 30 seconds. Cannot affect players more than once every 20 seconds, has an 80-second cooldown and costs 75 mana. Okay, this seems pretty decent, I'm not going to lie. A 4-cost card, so it's pretty good. You obviously have to max it out, so you could max it out to 7 because you could put 111 into it, and then you could get the team heal. Now, 225 health is pretty decent in the mid to, you know, early game it's strong, mid game it's pretty decent, late game I don't know, carries hit really hard like 750 if you're a Sparrow, around 600 if you're Murdoch, depending on your build, right? But you're going to be hitting from 400 to say 700 roughly. 400 to 700 in a shot, 225 health, nothing, 21 basic armor, again, not really much. So this card is more of an early to mid game card. I think it's going to be great for the early to mid game. I think it might even be pretty powerful. I mean, 80-second cooldown and 75 mana though. Until I read that again, it didn't really like register to me because that's really expensive. Like an 80-second cooldown is a long time, a 75 mana cost. But then again, you think about it, like early to mid game, you usually have a fight. It's like a big fight, but you don't really fight again for like another 2 to 3 minutes, and an 80-second cooldown is going to be up by then. And then the mana cost 75, not that bad if you're grabbing river buff. So maybe this is a card that is going to get used quite a bit. Okay, Toxigel. I believe this was a intellect card, so it's been reworked and is now a universal affinity card. Okay, they made a lot of cards universally. A universal affinity now, so it's a 6-cost card, gives you 100 max health, burst cleanse, passive, taking 400 damage, activate a self cleanse, being out of combat for 5 seconds resets the counter. Okay, so I think what they said a self cleanse is that it removes any effects that you have, like CC effects. So I'm not sure, like, is this a card that when you get stunned? Okay, so bear with me. You are getting stunned by a rampage, right? A rampage hits you with a rock. You're now stunned for 2 seconds. Within those 2 seconds, if you take 400 damage, the self cleanse activates and you can run, and that basically means that you cut the stun duration in half. So maybe I didn't explain that clearly. You get stunned, you get stunned at 0 seconds, right? You now take 400 damage within 1 second. You should be stunned for a 2-second duration, but instead now your card activates self cleanse, so now you can run away after 1 second. So basically you only take a stun for 1 second if you have 400 damage, which is a huge counter to Rampage if they didn't nerf his stun, which I don't know because I didn't look at the patch notes because I'm trying to, you know, give it to you my thoughts right off the top. But it's pretty huge against Aurora, right? Because when you're in Aurora, you get hit, like you get shot the fuck down, and you don't want to have to force everyone to play with Purity Sensor. I think it's kind of painful in solo queue when you have like no hero that's order. You just, you know, you're kind of screwed and you're relying on your allies to hit the abilities even if they do take Purity Sensor. So I like this card. I think it's going to be quite useful. Depending on how they nerf how they balance other heroes, it will kind of dictate whether this card is going to be used, but I like that they've included something like this. The next card is Thermobond. It has been reworked and is now universal. It costs 8 card points, has 100 max health, 4 ability armor, and a passive called Determination. Being hit by stuns, roots, and knockups grants a stack of health regen equal to 12% of your max health over 4 seconds. Wow, this is quite interesting. Okay, so bear with me. Say you're a Rampage, for example, and you have 2000 health. 12% of 2000 is 240 if I'm correct. That's 240 health you're getting back every second for 4 seconds. That's like 1000 health almost in 4 seconds. Now, how good is this in the later stages of the game? probably not that good, if I'm honest. Probably. I don't know if this is going to encourage you building more health, because like 3,000, you get 12% of 3,000, it's a lot more, right? You get 12% of 4,000, it's insane. But with carries outputting so much damage, is it really gonna have an impact, right? Is 240 health every second over 4 seconds, like, is almost 1,000 health over 4 seconds really gonna be that game changing in the late stages? Maybe. I could be completely wrong. I just, I've been playing builds where I've been doing like 800 damage with a Howie Q, or 750 with a basic attack from Sparrow. So what's 1,000 health, right? And I can shoot every second, just under every second. So what's 1,000 health over 4 seconds? But we don't know if they nerfed carry scaling yet. We haven't looked at any of this, so this is just looking at the cards without much context. But once we look at the heroes, then we'll be able to give, a more rounded view. We're just going over the cards for now. So Stinger Boost, it's now been I think this was a Fury card maybe, and it's now universal. It costs 6 card points, 60 max mana, 11 attack speed, Empower Basic. It is a passive. After hitting an enemy hero with an ability, your next basic attack deals 50 plus 20% of power. Bonus damage can only occur once every 1.5 seconds. Okay, interesting. Let's read this slowly. After hitting an enemy hero with an ability, your next basic attack deals 50 plus 20% of your power as bonus damage. This is an interesting card. Now, so there's a couple heroes that you would use this on. You could use it on your carry, right? But ideally on your carry, you just want to build loads of damage. So I'm not sure how useful it is. And then on heroes like Howitzer, Gideon, Gadget, you could use it because you are doing a lot. You're constantly using an ability, and you will be using basic attacks in between that time where your abilities are on cooldown. With Howie, I tend to just be using the Q and follow up with a couple of auto attacks. So this card is pretty interesting. Some people like to put attack speed on the Howitzer, and having mana doesn't really, it's not, having 60 mana is not really that bad, because it gives you enough for maybe, I think a Q is almost 100 or something mana, but 60 mana as a bonus is not that bad. The fact that it occurs once every 1.5 seconds is pretty nice. Your Howie Q is on a lot longer cooldown than that, so it's fine. I'm not sure how I feel about this card. Not sure if I will use it because it's a 6-cost card, but again, I will need to play it before I can make a decision. It might sound good in theory, or it might not sound good in theory, and end up being like overpowered or extremely shitty, I guess, in game. Next is Power Chord. Again, I think this was a Fury card and is now universal. It costs 6 card points. It has 6 power and 5.5 attack speed as its base stats, and it has a Blight basic. Passive. Hitting an enemy with a basic attack applies Blight for 4 seconds. Oh wow. Okay, so like I said earlier, they did nerf Blight because they were going to add it into more cards. I actually think this might be really good if you need to 1v1 an enemy carry. Like, reducing their healing to 40% with all the carries building lifesteal at the moment is going to be insane. And when it comes to those fights where you have to 1v1, it's going to be it's going to be crazy. And in team fights, if you can just hit a couple heroes, they don't have any lifesteal sustain for that 4 seconds. Although like 40% isn't that much, like a 40% reduction compared to like the 70 or 75% whatever it was, it's still a lot, right? 40% is still a lot, and I think for carries this might be the go-to card if you want a 1v1, or you find that you're struggling to deal with the enemy carry. I think this is going to be the go-to card. Thick Blood is now universal. I think this was Fury as well. It's a 4-cost card, 12 power, 30 max mana, and a Blight ability. So I'm assuming this is just the same as Power Chord, just for ability. So passive, hitting an enemy with an ability applies Blight for 4 seconds. Okay, so it's basically the same thing, just for ability. I don't know if I would use this on a caster. Maybe I would actually. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd use it on like someone like Howitzer. Because, I don't know, just like stopping a carry life-stealing off me seems like a good idea. And only 4 costs. It's not too expensive compared to Power Chord. Okay, so I think that's all for the card reworks for now. I think these cards were just slightly rebalanced. So Nature's Muse was reduced from 7 to 6. The mana cost was reduced from 150 to 100. Not sure that's going to get much use. I know it was used a while back in the meta, but it's kind of expensive now and costs quite a bit of mana. Okay, Telebling has been reduced from 6 CP to 5 CP, but they've increased the distance to 150. I like that, I like that. Stabling increased the distance by 500. Shockwave has a reduced cost from 6 CP to 5 CP. Do you remember that time where everyone used Shockwave and now I literally never seen it? So 5 CP, I'm not sure that's going to make a huge difference. Plasma Channel reduced cost from 6 to 5 CP. Increased shed per attack from 4 to 8. Interesting. Bubble Tap reduced mana cost from 100 mana to 60 mana. Removed Lifesteal stat. Now grants 60 max mana and 4 ability armor. I know some people actually use... no, was it Bubble? No, it's Barrier of Will, so that's my bad. Bounty Stalker. Increased critical chance per stack from 4% to 6%. Reduced max stack count from 10 to 7. Increased stack duration from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. So, previously you could get 40% of, crit. But you would have to hit, obviously, 10 times. But, now, you get 42, and you only have to hit 7 times. So, it's okay, but I just don't really see much value from Bounty Stalker, if I'm honest. Satori Cloak increased shed from 15% to 50%. Wow. Remember that time everyone ran Satori Cloak? Yeah, it might be that time again. I'm not sure, but 50% seems like a lot. Megavolt Pylon increased mana restored per unit nearby. No. Megavolt Pylon increased mana restored per nearby unit from 5 to 15. I believe this was a card that gives you mana for every... It's like an active card that gives you mana for units nearby. So 15 mana. I'm not sure that's a lot. Late game, waves are fucking huge. So that might be worthwhile. But with the river buffs, do you really need to be able to restore mana? Dread Feast Relic reduced cooldown from 120 seconds to 30 seconds, and Blink Shot removed mana regen stat, now grants plus 6 power. Oh wow, so now I can actually put stats into my Blink Shot if I wanted to. That's interesting. I do run Blink Shot on a lot of my heroes that I traditionally only build damage on, so that's actually quite nice for me. Heroes are now unlocked through daily logins. If you're an existing player, you will not be affected. Not going to touch too much about that change. I didn't really like it, but this is a patch notes video and I want to talk more about the heroes. Okay boys, so we're at that moment where we're talking about heroes. I would like to remind everyone that, one, this is just my opinion and it's going to be difficult because we're just reading numbers, right? You guys can leave your thoughts on what you think in the comment section below and we can have some discussion. I want to talk to you guys about what you think as well. My opinion might not matter to a lot of you, or it might matter to quite a lot of you. I have no idea. I'm gonna give it anyways, and it's just me being honest. So you might say, oh Ace, you know nothing. I disagree with what you say. That's perfectly fine with me. I don't know everything, but I want to start that dialogue so we can see, do we like these changes? Is Aurora gonna be balanced now? Who knows? Alright, so anyways, enough about that. Let's start with Aurora. The base health reduced to 506 from 550. Health per level gain reduced from 68 from 74. So she's now a bit more squishy. Her Frozen Sword card scaling reduced to 0.5 from 0.8. Base damage reduced to 58 from 59. Base damage per level reduced to 1 from 1.5. Okay, so her damage got a nerf and her health got a nerf. Was the problem that Aurora was doing too much damage and being too tanky? I would say the latter is definitely not true. I didn't find Aurora too tanky. The problem is she has 2 great escapes that makes shutting her down without CC incredibly difficult unless you're a carry in the late game and you manage to get like 2 or 3 shot her. The fact that they reduced damage from her is pretty interesting. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but like I said, until we play in a real world scenario, you're not going to know. Glacial Charge. Cooldown increased to 22, 2018, 16 from 2018, 16, 14. I like this change. I like the fact that the cooldown is a bit longer. Yes, it's only 2 seconds at every level, but it does mean that you can, I don't know, it just means that Auroras can't use this ability as much, and it means that she can escape once, but now I know it's on cooldown for 16 seconds. It gives me an opportunity to kill her. The Hoarfrost duration of effect reduced to 4 seconds, thank the Lord, because I felt like I was stuck there for days. The root duration reduced to 0.75, 1.25 and 1.5 seconds from 2 seconds at all levels. Thank you. The root duration scales with level. That is exactly how abilities should work. It shouldn't be 2 seconds at level 1. That is a joke. It should be scale as you level your ability. That way there's some trade-off when you level your abilities, right? If Rampage Rock, for example, is a stun at level 1, forget about the damage bonus that you get because you obviously want to upgrade your rock. What is the trade-off between upgrading abilities, right? If the root on Aurora's Hoarfrost is 2 at all levels, there's no trade-off when you upgrade it. But now you're an Aurora and you're like, okay, well, now I have to either worry about reducing my Glacial Charge cooldown, or have to increase the root duration of my Hoarfrost, or I max out, whatever. I like the fact that there's now a cost to everything you make, and I think that's how a MOBA should be played. That's strategy. The mana cost was also increased, not too worried about that because that's to do with you managing your mana. Cryo says base damage reduced. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Aurora just did too much damage with her ult, and the fact that you were there like stuck for days was just stupid. It now deals varying shatter damage based on whether the shattering unit is a hero or not. Hero shatter base damage increased to 58, 86, 116 from 46, 62, 84. Non-hero shatter base damage reduced to 28, 43 from 40, 62, 84, and non-hero card scaling reduced to 0.1 from 0.2. Not sure what this means. I think this is a nerf, but I'm not too sure. I do think Aurora's ult was a bit too powerful when it, the knock-on effect. I've had people do this to me, right? They will get ulted by Aurora, then they will jump into me, and the ult would go off on them, and it would pop on me, and I would die. It's the dumbest thing ever, and it's like the biggest troll. So the damage reduction is nice if that's what it implies. I'm not sure about this hero shatter base damage increase. I think that's like the damage the AoE damage that goes off when the ice explodes on your hero. I'm not too sure about that, but it's not too bad. So Crunch, his punch attack speed gain per level increased to 2 from 1.4. That's pretty big, and his base damage gain per level reduced to 0.8 from 1. So I guess this is making him quicker but hit less harder. I do think that's a buff rather than a nerf overall, because the attack speed did increase quite a bit. Feng Mao sweep attack speed gain per level increased to 1.5 from 1.26. Earth Shatter base damage reduced to 260, 350, 440 from 300, 400, 500, but they did increase the card scaling. So that's pretty nice. Does the card scaling mean you do more damage? Maybe. I'm not too sure. I'm not a mathematician and I haven't played it, but I think that is a nice change. I like the attack speed increase. I do think Feng Mao is actually pretty decent. The problem is that he's decent in the... Feng Mao is not a hero that you would typically associate with having a high skill cap, but he does. People at Diamond and I don't know, I think it's like Ram Riddles, those kind of guys can play a really good Feng Mao and can go toe to toe with probably the best heroes. But at lower levels, I feel people struggle a lot with Feng Mao. So trying to find that right balance where they don't make him too OP at higher levels, but make him viable for everyone in the lower levels is, difficult, but I'm glad to see that they're trying to make changes. The Fae, a hero that actually sucks at being a support. They actually have done nothing in my opinion. Harvest Nettles cooldown reduced to 5 seconds from 6 seconds. Yeah, okay bro, that's a great change. That's going to be a huge impact. I'd love if that actually ends up being a really big impact. I doubt it. Okay, Gadget Speed Gate. Move speed increased to 125 at all levels. I don't like this change, but whatever. Give her the speed if you must. The duration has been reduced to 1 second from 3.5 seconds. That's actually pretty nice, and the cooldown has been adjusted. I like the duration reduced to 1 second. It means you can throw it down and you actually have to run through it. I see people throw it a mile down on mid lane, and then they run into it and then they go, and then their whole team 20 years later run through it and they also get speed. So I like that it's 1 second. It makes it more like, hey team, I'm gonna throw a speed gate, we have to use it within this second or it's gone, and then it's gonna cool down. So that's pretty nice. I like that. The fact that the speed is the same at all levels, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I like having that trade-off, but the trade-off here I guess is the cooldown, so it's not too bad. Tesla Dome. The cooldown has been increased by a little bit. I don't think it's anything crazy. It's fine. It's not too bad. The base damage has, however, been increased. I already felt that I feel like Gadget's ult does an insane amount of damage already, but it does rely on you like stunning someone in it or comboing with a Decacade, some form of CC to get like a huge value out of it. And I think if you can combo it, it's gonna do insane damage. So damage application has been reworked. Damage now scales over time, starting off smaller and ramping higher. Damage increases by 75% for each tick. The final tick hits very hard. Damage from Tesla Dome now applies a micro slow. Holy shit, boys. This sounds crazy. This sounds really good. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the fact that the damage scales over time, so you can run through it and then, you know, it's not gonna, like, what would happen is Gadget would throw down her ult on people and then they would just like die because they were so low already. But the fact that the damage scales over time means they have some kind of escape. But if you can get a Decacade, a Rampage Rock, or some form of CC to get the enemy to stay in there for the full duration, with the damage increasing by 75% for each tick, that is insane. And the fact that they got a micro slow now means that they're going to take a while to get out of there even after the CC is up. So I like this change. I think it's pretty nice. It makes for more combos, and it makes for combos and teamwork, and I like that. Grim EXE. Mana gain per level increased from 33.6 from 28.8. So he gets more mana. Okay, I guess that's good for when you use his suppression mode to slow them down. Card scaling increased to 0.92 from 0.85. That's nice, more damage, I'll take it. Suppression mode slow now has an 8-second duration. Interesting. I think Grim EXE is really, you know, he's got a big hitbox, makes him a lot harder to use because other carries are smaller, harder to hit. Grim EXE is extremely easy to hit. I rarely miss shots on Grim EXE as another carry just because his hitbox is huge. So giving him more damage is great, giving him a better suppression mode is nice, giving him more mana is great. So all buffs all round, I think. So I'm interested to see though, are these changes big enough? Not that I don't think so, but we have to see what happens to the other carries. Grok's Double Pain. Card scaling reduced to 0.6 from 0.7. Smash and Grab card scaling reduced to 0.3 from 0.8. Okay, a slight nerf to Grok's, nothing major. How it's a landmine? No. I really like this ability. Base damage reduced. Wow, no. How it's a landmine used to do insane damage. I used to love it. I like Q people, auto attack, use it E to finish them off. And the fact that they've nerfed the damage and the card scaling, and they've reduced the duration. Oh my god. Please guys, please don't do this to me. Wow. I guess it was kind of needed. The landmine did do an insane amount of damage. I'm not happy with this change because I like Howitzer a lot, but I guess it's kind of balanced. Make it rain cooldown increased. Okay. I guess like Howitzer did get his ult really quickly, and you know, I kind of felt like, oh, I'm in trouble, I'll just pop my ult and I'd be out. So I guess it kind of makes well, now if I pop my ult, I might not have it for 105 seconds, so I got to be a bit careful. Iggy and Scorch, I want to see reworked, but I guess they're just going to try and buff him. So move speed increased to 100 at all levels from 20, 30, 40, 50. Makes him a bit more mobile in situations where he needs to get out or, you know, need to catch up to enemies. His flame turret base damage increased to 300, 450, 600, 750 from 150, 280, 410, 540. Now, the problem with Iggy is that it's very easy to get out of his turret. Can you combo this with other cards maybe to slow them down? I'm not too sure. What about that card that slows people on a basic attack hit? What if you slow them and throw turrets at them? Does that help? Is that something viable that you can use on Iggy and Scorch? I have no idea, but who knows? I don't think this is going to solve Iggy and Scorch. I know they are reworking him. I think Arctic mentioned on Reddit they're reworking Iggy. So maybe this is just temporarily while they get like all the Iggy changes in motion. Polari, death sentence reduced to 110. 190 from 110 at all levels. Okay, I like that change, I like it. Chimera Ambush now grants 3 stacks of spirit regeneration on activation. Carl now grants 6 stacks of spirit regeneration on activation. So spirit regeneration just gives him back, like, is his health regen. So 3 stacks on activation and then 6 on his. Oh, that's pretty nice. I know some people say Chimera is rubbish, other people say he's great. So finding the balance is probably going to be quite difficult, especially for Chimera. I think he's a difficult one to balance because he can jump on people every so often and kill them, but then late game, you know, he's just really cannon fodder. Kwang, his Light of the Heavens cooldown has been reduced to 16, 14, 12, 10 from 18, 16, 14, 12 fine cooldowns, and then Fury of the Heavens cooldown adjusted to 85, 75, 65. So his ult now lasts, I think Fury of Heavens is his ultimate, so it's a bit longer, but they did reduce the cooldown on Light of Heavens. I'm not too sure, like, I don't play Kwang too much, but I don't see this change being like game changing on Kwang. Muriel, Serenity, the slow magnitude normalized to 200, 250, 300, 350. Okay. So 350 at the final level. It's interesting. It used to do 385. But at level 1 and level 2, it's more. Okay. I think 385 is quite a bit. Okay, so that's a fine change with me. They've reworked Reversal of Fortune, which is her ultimate. No longer stuns enemies or knocks them up in an area around Muriel. Now applies a 400 slow over 2 seconds. Can no longer be cast while airborne. Player camera will now correctly return to its normal rotation after a Reversal of Fortune ends. That's interesting. I like the 400 slow. That's what, like a Greystone when he comes down. That sort of area, and you're going to get slowed within that area for 2 seconds. That's nice. The stun and knock up, I'm okay with that getting out. Yes, it's a bit of a nerf. Well, not a bit of a nerf, it's a huge nerf, but that was something they used to have in Legacy, and I don't think it really belonged in Monolith. I do like the 400 slow though. Rampage, Boulder Throw, rework the cast. Yeah boy, this is a change a lot of us wanted to see, and I played a lot of Rampages, but you know, this is I played a lot of Rampage and I did feel the rock was a bit crazy. It now times out if the rock is held more than 5 seconds. Okay, so let me tell you something. When Monolith first came out and Rampage obviously was crazily overpowered, what I used to do was the carry would farm and I would sit there and hold my rock. The offlaner could never come to the wave because I was just standing there with my rock. Like, what can you do? The rock is just there, and the minute the offlaner tries to get farm, I'm just gonna stun you for 2 seconds and you're gonna die. So this is a change that had to happen. So if Rampage manually cancels or times out the rock, he pays the mana cost, but the cooldown is not consumed. Okay, wow. That basically solves the problem I just mentioned, and it makes it like, okay, if I pick on my rock, I have to use it. The problem is that Rampages would just walk around with their rock out, pause, and then, you know, they would just like threaten people. And I think this is a good change. Throwing the rock consumes mana and cooldown as normal. Okay, whatever. Stun duration finally reduced to 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, and 2 from 2 at all levels. Okay, now stuns minions for the same duration as heroes. Fine. The stun at max level is 2 seconds. Perfectly fine with that. 1.4 at level 1. Perfectly fine. It now scales. That's fine with me. Richter. Mana gain per level increased to 45 from 36. Riplash range increased to 1525 at all levels. So basically that's his Riplash from level 3 and 4 onwards at level 1 now. Okay, I like this change. Richter Richter's Riplash cost an insane amount of mana. The fact that they're giving him more mana per level is great. I don't know. Earlier game, you're gonna have to you're still probably gonna need quite a bit of mana. It's only 9 mana per level, so at level 10 you get 90 more mana. Okay, it's like 90 more mana is 1 more hook at level 10. Not amazing, but it's better than nothing. Serath, Angelic Smite, base damage increased to 58 from 55, base damage gain per level increased to 1.8 from 1.6, attack speed gain per level to 2.2 from 0, base health increased to 522.5 from 475, health gain per level increased to 76.8 from 64, I don't know why I said 76, I meant to say 76, and basic armor gain per level increased to 2.5 from 2, so buffs all round for Serath. Whether this makes her a great melee carry remains to be seen. The fact that she got 0 attack speed per level is insane. I actually didn't know she got 0 attack speed per level, but 2.2 per level now is pretty decent. Increase in base health, so buffs all around. Like I said, I think she's gonna be pretty decent now, and I you know, expecting a lot more people to play her. I did see her lower levels, higher elos. She doesn't offer that much, but maybe she will now, who knows. Shinbi, base damage per wolf increased on her ultimate or kill. Okay, 105 damage at level 3. That's actually really nice. What can she apply? Like 8 wolves? That's like 800 damage. That's insane. That's pretty nice, actually. That is pretty nice. But I mean, you still gotta get those stacks, so who knows. Sparrow, piercing shot. Thank you, they nerfed this shit. This shit was insane, boys. Card scaling reduced to 0.75 from 1. Base damage reduced to 75, 125, 175, 225 from the previous. And cooldown increased to 9 seconds from 8 seconds. Thank you. They fucking nerfed that shit, because that was insane. This ability was just overpowered. Just trust me. I'm not even going to talk about how annoying this used to be. It's just so overpowered. Inner fire cooldown to 185.70 from 90.70.50. Okay, fine. I do think Sparrow is really strong, so the fact that they nerfed her ultimate is okay with me. Her card scaling on her basic attack is really strong, so I don't think it's going to impact her too much. Steel, bulwark. Bulwark? Is that how you say it? I guess so, bulwark. No longer occasionally blocks the pull of Grux's smash and grab. Force shield. Force shield builds and becomes active 0.5 seconds faster. Okay, that's fine. They already changed it previously, and it is what it is. Twin blast. Grenade. Base damage increased to 50, 80, 110, 140 from its previous stats. Card scaling increased to 0.6 from 0.5. Projectile speed increased to 6,000 from 3,000. Okay, so buffs to his AoE, help him wave clear, help him land, you know, help him actually use grenade in fights now, because it's going to do more damage. It's going to be able to land faster, so people can't just dodge it easily. So I like that. I think Twin Blast is actually okay. Like, he doesn't get used that much, but he's not overpowered. I think he is okay. So Yin, no balance changes, obviously, because she hasn't come out. But they added the Wind Gauntlet Yin to in-game store. That's obviously a skin. And added Call the Shot emote. Okay, nice. I'd like to have seen the emote, like, displayed here. Epic, please. UI. So, okay. So now we're on to UI. So we're done with the heroes. A lot of changes, some good, some bad, depending on what heroes you play. Sparrow change needed. If you're a Sparrow main, you're gonna be pissed. If I was Sparrow main, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, piercing shot was dope, but it did need to be reworked. Shimbi, she's pretty, you know, useless. So, like, fine. They buffed her ultimate. Let's see. You know, that's all we can do. We can see. Serath, look, it seems good on paper. How good is Serath gonna be in the game? I don't know. I think it's going to be decent. I just think it's going to be decent. I know Blood Mortius plays a mean Serath, and that's a diamond, so he could do pretty well with this. I'd hate to come up against him. Richter buffs, is it enough? I don't think so. Like I said, he's the only hero to CC himself for 2 seconds. Like, come on. He just stands there and you can just hit him. Is it enough? Like, maybe if his ult gave him like a big amount of armor and health for that duration, so he couldn't be CC'd. I mean, so he couldn't die, would be fine. And you could only, like, get him out of ult with CC, if that makes sense. Rampage nerf definitely needed to happen. Muriel, I'm fine with that change. Huang, Chimera, Kalari, Iggy, you know, it is what it is. We know Iggy's getting reworked. How it's a change, I'm not a fan of the landmine getting nerfed, but balance, it does make sense. And a lot of, like, okay, big changes, but, is this really going to switch up the meta? I don't see it. I don't think so. Yin might switch up the meta because she does counter CC pretty well from what I've seen and what I've heard. But is the rest enough to change the meta? I personally don't think so. Okay, so let's talk about the UI. Rewards for leveling up are now chest. Hero levels, tribute rewards are now silver chest. Master tribute rewards are now diamond chest. Okay, that's nice. Account levels, 1 chest is now rewarded at every level. Existing unlocks remain, PvP, deck build, etc. Rarities change, legendary, epic, rare, uncommon, and common. Okay, so before they used to have epic, mega rare, I guess epic, mega rares are now legendary. and we had epic rares and uncommons and commons before. Some items changed rarities to fit system. This doesn't affect them. Okay, fine, whatever. RNG anyways. Fix for card ability, fix for hard to read text on chest, reward, rarity screen, whatever. And loot crate. So okay, so all banners are in loot crates now, but you can also buy them. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to buy all the legendary ones. If you saw my video, you would have seen all the banners. I'll leave a link to these to the description. I can't talk right now. English, please, Ace. I'll leave a link to a banner video in the description below, so you can see all these banners. I believe I literally have all these banners because someone data mined them on Reddit. So I'll leave a link to that so you can check it out. I think these three are pretty cool. I would have liked to be able to customize banners. I don't know, is it just me? Like, am I asking for too much to be able to customize my banner? I want a banner that makes it feel unique. Like I don't want a dark abomination and then like everyone else has a dark abomination. Like, that's not cool to me. That's like, why the fuck would I have a banner then? I don't know, man. All in all, big patch. Did it deliver? I don't know. I don't feel I don't know. Honestly, it is a big change. It's positive. I like it. Does it deliver enough? I don't know, man. The hero changes to me don't seem like a lot. The card changes I did like. I will be honest, I do like the card changes. So I do like the card changes. Hero changes don't seem like a lot, but again, we're looking at numbers and we're not actually playing, so we don't know. Banners, I'm disappointed with banners. I actually am disappointed with banners. Like I said, I want something unique. I want to show off me. I want to show, like, when I shit on noobs, I want people to know it's me. Like, I don't want anyone else to have like the same banner as me. That's bullshit. Like, why would I try and win a legendary banner if everyone else can have it? Yeah, okay, RNG, you might not get it, but you're selling banners now, so anyone can buy a legendary banner. So I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just like an asshole like that. I don't know, maybe you feel the same. Let me know in the comment section below. I feel like this video has gone for way too long. I did kind of talk about how I feel. I'm mostly just excited for Yin. I'm not a big fan of these changes just yet. I need to see them in action before I can make a informed opinion, right? I don't have much context to these changes, but I do think Yin is going to be great for the game. And if Paragon continue to release heroes like Yin, where it takes a while to master and really switch up the game, then I can have no complaints. Balance and all that stuff is a learning process. It'll take time for them to get right, and eventually I'm sure they'll get it right. My throat is extremely dry for talking for almost an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video. Like, my other videos are usually scripted and, you know, there's a structure. This video is kind of new to me, like new for me, and I'm really just freestyling #bars. But it's I hope it wasn't too boring and that you guys did find useful information from this, and just my opinion from maybe someone you consider a good player. Hopefully, maybe, I mean, I would like to think I'm a decent player, but I would love to know what you think of the changes. Do you think banners are a good change? I know a lot of you really like Yin. I know that the card rework is coming, but this is a good step. You know, the free stuff that we're getting, I really can't complain. I know I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not complaining. I know I was really excited for this patch, and I was kind of like, it's come to a point where I'm not as enthusiastic as I was for Paragon. Like, a lot of you will know that I play on my friend's account for most of my gameplay videos, because I don't really enjoy playing at a higher level now. Like, I really don't enjoy running into 5 stack of competitive players, because as a solo queue player, I know I can't compete. I don't enjoy the fact that the balance is the way it is. I don't enjoy that the time to kill is so short when you get CC'd. Like, yeah, the time to kill can be short, but when you get stunned for 2 seconds, it's kind of bullshit. Like, you can make one mistake, get stunned, and your parry dies, and then now you're 5v4 and you're probably going to lose the game at higher level. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. I know Monolith's got a long way to go. I am enjoying playing just casually for fun and making content for you guys, so that's what really drives me. Anyways, I will stop rambling on because I know I've been going on. Smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed. This is a different type of video for me, so feedback is appreciated. My other videos will be scripted unless a huge patch comes out like this, so stay subscribed for all the latest Paragon content, and until next time guys, peace.